Okay, so welcome to Breathing Space on the 13th of August, 2022. And today I'm going to base our practice around a little bit of reading that I was doing. I'm busy reading this book at the moment, Mindful Path to Self-Compassion. And in here, Chris Germer talks about mindfulness as a way into self-compassion. And he refers to the spirit rock teacher, Guy Armstrong, who defines mindfulness as knowing what you're experiencing while you are experiencing it. And that's really the simplicity of our practice. Knowing what you're experiencing while you are experiencing it. Of course, although it's simple, it's not easy. So that's why we practice. That's why we're here today to sit in formal meditation practice. And today we're going to practice mindfulness of the breath. Okay, so we're always breathing, quite useful. But we're going to bring awareness to that breathing. We can only breathe in the present moment. So one mindful breath, and whatever we're doing, wherever the mind is, we're right back, right here, and right now. So while we're practicing, let's see if we can invite an open and beginner's mind, a little bit of curiosity to what might be here, what we might be experiencing as we practice, and holding all of that in kindness and in compassion. So we're gentle with our practice. Tuning into the physical sensations of the breathing, we might notice how they change. We might notice the body around the breath. And this gives us an anchor that we can use to keep us in the present moment. Doesn't matter where life takes us, where our mind goes, we always have this anchor of the breath that we can come back to and hold on to. And then we have this mindful place of awareness that we can use to detach ourselves from distractions, to the point where we can watch them and observe them rather than being entangled in them. And last week I dropped in this quote from Rainer Maria Rilke about living the questions. So in our practice, whatever we find, rather than trying to look for answers, maybe just be with the questions, explore them and live them, and see what that experience brings up. And of course, your mind will be distracted. That's what busy minds do. Our mind is always thinking, and the slightest little breath of wind or a noise in the background or an itch at the back of your head, and your mind will want to analyze it, evaluate it, think about it, and draw you into some memory or some prediction about the future. So that's exactly why we're practicing. We're using the breath as an anchor that we can then observe and get to know ourselves in the moment of our practice, but also then detach ourselves from that, let go of it, and come back to a deliberate focus just on the sensations of breathing. And sometimes the breath doesn't feel like a very easy place to be. Sometimes when we're practicing, our breath can be a place that just doesn't feel right for practice. So if that's the case today, feel free to practice with other anchors. You could use your feet connected to the floor or your body connected to the bed. You could use your hands, just focus on the sensations in your hands. Or if you're feeling particularly intense today, you could even focus on an object in the room or the sounds in the room around you. So although we're practicing on the breath today, there are other options for this if that feels right for you. Always practice within your own boundaries with what feels right for you and your well-being. So we're going to begin our practice. And remember to find your own way into the practice and your own way through the practice. Just use my voice as a gentle guidance and then kind of find your way around that. So let's begin by getting into our posture. You can use this as a way of welcoming yourself into practice. Connecting to your body. And as you make some adjustments to find your posture, maybe checking in with the energy that's here with you today, because that might influence your choice of posture. Whether you're standing or sitting or lying down, finding a posture that's comfortable, but also that feels right for arriving into mindful, embodied awareness. And your eyes can be open with a kind of lowered or softened gaze, or your eyes can be closed. And again, just take some time to see which feels right for you today. And as you become more aware of the posture, you become more aware of your body, you might want to make some adjustments. And that's another way of just dropping into our mindful awareness. Knowing what you're experiencing. There's no rule on not moving during a meditation, just as long as we're mindful in what we do. So deepening our embodied awareness, noticing the sensations of contact between the body and the surface supporting you, the floor, chair, the bed, the cushion, the mat. Feeling your body and your weight held secure and connected to the earth. And noticing any tension, any tightness, bracing in the body, anything that's coming in to your practice from the busy day that you've just come in from. Maybe offering a smile and a few deeper mindful breaths in and around those places, inviting some softening, some relaxation, some letting go. And with each mindful breath, just arriving into this place of practice, place of warmth and kindness, acceptance, effortless awareness. And in your own time, in your own way, turning attention now to the breath, to the body breathing, just bringing some curiosity to wherever in the body the breath might be felt most present. Just allowing the breath to flow naturally. Let the body do the breathing. And we just become the observer, curious to where this breathing is felt in the physical body. Maybe today you feel the breath in the nose or the mouth, where the air is entering or leaving the body. Or maybe today it's felt in the expansion and then the relaxing of the chest. Or perhaps today it's down in the belly, with all the movements in the diaphragm. Or maybe you feel the breath somewhere else today. So yeah, just gently taking some time to explore where and how the breath is known in the body today. And of course, the mind will wander. That's what minds do. So when it does, and when you notice, celebrating, coming into awareness of thinking. And for now, just recognize and then practice letting go of those thoughts and gently returning the focus back to the physical sensations of the breath. And then we just rinse and repeat. So we might notice that where the breath is felt changes, or that our attention notices the breath in different places. And every time thinking or another distraction takes us away from our practice, we just recognize that. We practice coming back into the focus on the breath. And now we're going to practice exploring when the breath is felt most present. It might be on the in breath, it might be on the out breath. So, whichever feels most alive for you, seeing if we can tune in our focus to the sensations of that in breath or the sensations of each out breath. And if they seem fairly equal, then just choose one. It doesn't matter which. And then just explore the sensations felt in the body and the breath around this one part of the breath, around each in breath or each out breath. So yeah, just focus on that part of the breath, on that in breath, and then the next in breath, or that out breath, and the next out breath, and then just let go. So when that part of the breath is over, you've followed your in-breath, just let go of your attention and come back to focus with the next in-breath. You can practice focus and let go, or you focus on the out breath and then let go, and then on the next out breath. So just continuing playing with that practice. Just noticing how that part of the breath is felt in the belly, in the chest, in the nose or the mouth, or anywhere else in the body. As time goes on, you might find that your body, your mind react or change in energy or ease or discomfort, and just as best you can, just sitting with that and allowing those changes to happen, bringing them into your practice, and then returning your focus to the physical sensation of that in breath or that out breath. So now expanding our awareness to following the full breath, the in and the out, and maybe even noticing that little pause in between, that little pause at the top of the in breath and the little pause at the bottom of the out breath, feeling the full flow, that rhythm of rise and fall, and noticing how it's felt as we follow the breath through the body. And there are lots of distractions, noises, sensations in the body, thoughts, feelings. So whenever we notice these, just lingering long enough to say, here's thinking, or here's restlessness. And then make this the practice of knowing that we've been distracted, coming back to mindful awareness and focusing back on physical sensations of that flow of in breath and out breath as we know them in the body. Remembering that this is all about knowing what you are experiencing while you are experiencing it. So those thoughts and feelings and distractions are all part of our experience. So we're not trying to push them away. We're just trying not to get tangled up in them. And we're practicing letting them go and coming back to focus on the physical sensations of that in breath and that out breath. So now in your own way, expanding that attention around the breath. So we keep the breath as our anchor while opening the focus of attention to include the body that is being breathed, the body around the breath. Rather than looking for anything, just waiting for what the body might come up with. Maybe sensations in the muscles or the limbs or the back, shoulders, the skin. So we keep the breath as the focus at the center. And then we just allow those physical sensations from the body to come into and through that awareness of the breath. You might notice how your weight shifts or how your body is felt against different surfaces with each breath. You might notice the movement of skin on clothing with each breath. You might notice your feet or your legs or your back with each breath. You might notice your eyelids or your hands with each breath. Breathing into the body and being the body breathed, and just resting in awareness of those physical sensations. We don't need to follow the breath for long. Just one breath is enough to come into mindful awareness. And if we lose the breath, we become too focused in the body, or we become caught up in striving or efforting, just let that go and just come back to the breath. The breath is the anchor at the center of our practice. And we're not trying to achieve any particular state of being here. We're just knowing experience while we are experiencing it. If the body's restless, or if you're bored, if today is an agitated day, or even if today just happens to be relaxed or easy, then that's just the way things are. And our experience is simply to be with the breath, to know the breath as it is, in breath by out breath. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes in silence to continue this practice, noticing distractions, letting them go, coming back to the breath, sensing the body around the breath, coming back to the breath. So practice in your own way, in silence for the next 5 minutes. So continuing to rest on the breath, we can expand our practice around that to maybe opening our awareness to the world around you, while you keep your focus on the in-breath and the out-breath, feeling the breath at the center of that awareness. You might make some adjustments to your posture. The body's been sitting or lying for quite some time. And you might even bring some movement to the toes and the fingers, all the time resting awareness on the breath. You might find that your body wants to stretch or yawn. We can still keep our focus on the breath. So continuing to practice, because we know that in life, the practice has no beginning and no end. It continues into our day-to-day lives. So continuing your practice in your own way, as I read you a little bit from Jon Kabat-Zinn's book, Wherever You Go, There You Are. And this is the little chapter on keeping the breath in mind. It helps to have a focus for your attention, an anchor line to tether you to the present moment and to guide you back when the mind wanders. The breath serves this purpose exceedingly well. It can be a true ally. Bringing awareness to our breathing, we remind ourselves that we are here now. So we might as well be fully awake for whatever is already happening. Our breathing can help us in capturing our moments. After all, the breath is always here, right under our noses. We even have a phrase, I didn't have a moment to breathe or catch my breath, to give us a hint that moments and breathing might be connected in an interesting way. To use your breathing to nurture mindfulness, just tune into the feeling of it. The feeling of the breath coming into your body, the feeling of the breath leaving your body. That's all. Just feeling the breath. Breathing and knowing that you're breathing. This doesn't mean deep breathing or forcing your breathing or trying to feel something special or wondering whether you're doing it right. It doesn't mean thinking about your breathing either. It's just a bare bones awareness of the breath moving in and the breath moving out. It doesn't have to be for a long time at any one stretch. Using the breath to bring us back to the present moment takes no time at all, only a shift in attention. But great adventures await you if you give yourself a little time to string moments of awareness together, breath by breath, moment by moment. So thank you all for your practice today. Well done for being here. Well done for giving yourself this time of special self-care, tenderness. And I'm going to stop the recording now. Just maybe ease yourself back to your screens. And if possible, let's see if we can just keep awareness of our breath going underneath our conversation while we share a little bit about our practice.